영상이 시작되기 전에 먼저 등장할 5개의 문장을 보여드릴게요. 빈칸에 들어갈 표현을 유추해보세요. 단어 하나하나를 직역하지 않고 전체 의미에 맞게 의역하고자 노력합니다. 그게 바로 영어식 사고의 출발이에요. 그럼 시작해볼까요?
Perfect for seasoned traders. It can be intimidating for newcomers. They've focused on accessibility. Seamless onboarding. Among newer retail investors,
Welcome back. Now, this channel, as you know, is really for those of you deeply interested in economy and business topics.
That's right. And we have this approach here. We call it the magic of listening.
Exactly. The idea is, by really focusing hard on one complex topic per session, like we're about to do,
You start to rapidly build up a very specialized vocabulary. It's quite effective.
and it's not just words, you get the context, how they're used, which really helps with overall skills too. Listening, grammar, even speaking.
Definitely. So for today's Magic of Listening session, we're diving into something fascinating happening in South Korea.
A real cultural and tech shift, yeah. How Koreans are trading stocks today.
Precisely. It's this move away from, let's say, the super technical, almost professional grade tools.
Towards platforms that are much more social, much more welcoming for beginners.
That's the core of it.
Okay, so let's start by painting a picture of the old school, as we're calling it. Apps like Kiwoon's Heroes, Murray Assets, MSD,
Right? These are the traditional powerhouses.
and the sources describe their design in a very specific way.
They really do. They're built like professional terminals. Think a pilot's cockpit, but for finance.
A cockpit of candlestick charts, I think is the phrase used. Lots of technical tools.
Exactly. They offer incredible precision, deep control, perfect for seasoned traders, the day traders who need every bit of data instantly.
Unmatched control, but maybe not for everyone.
Definitely not. That precision comes with a really steep learning curve. It can be quite intimidating for newcomers.
Feels like working alone in a cold control tower was another description. Powerful, sure, but isolating.
Very isolating. It demands a lot from the user. High cognitive load, understanding every little metric.
Which I suppose leads us nicely to the contrast. The new school.
The revolution, really. Led by apps like TOS Securities, Kakopay Securities, NH.
And the whole philosophy seems different.
Completely. It's less about operating complex machinery by yourself and much more about joining a community, almost like a guided tour.
Connection over complexity.
You could say that. They prioritize emotional comfort, making users feel like they're part of something, not just staring at numbers alone.
How do they do that? What are the features?
Well, they've really focused on accessibility. Information comes in clean, simple card layouts, easy language, digestible snapshots like earnings highlights,
Making it less overwhelming.
and removing barriers. Things like seamless onboarding, fractional investing in U.S. stocks, instant currency conversion stuff that used to be complicated.
And the social gamified elements. TOS was mentioned specifically.
Right. TOS uses things like badges, top 5% returns, for example. You can follow influencers, make short posts, get likes, comments.
So investing becomes more like a social media feed. A conversation.
In a way, yes. It makes it feel less like calculation and more like participation.
But hang on, doesn't that introduce other risks? Badges like top 5% returns, following influencers. Couldn't that push people towards maybe herd behavior or overly competitive trading?
That's a really critical point, and yes, that's the potential downside. While it makes investing accessible,
That very connection, that social aspect, could amplify market swings or encourage chasing trends without proper research.
Absolutely. It can foster that herd mentality, especially among newer retail investors. The risk profile changes when investing feels like keeping up with a social trend rather than a calculated financial decision.
So it adds a layer of social pressure, perhaps.
It certainly can. The desire to fit in or to achieve those visible badges might influence decisions that should be purely rational.
Okay, so we have these two clear camps emerging. The experienced folks who value speed, deep data, that old school control.
Versus the newer wave, often younger investors who seem to prioritize ease of use, community, that feeling of connection.
So which way is the tide flowing? What does the data show about user preference?
The data is actually quite clear on satisfaction. Surveys show TOS is leading significantly in overall user satisfaction. It tops the UX scores 73.2 out of 100.
Wow, that's quite high. And the traditional apps?
Well, QM's Heroes, for instance, while still praised for its raw speed and functionality by pros,
It scores lower on user friendliness.
much lower on things like UI navigation, ease of understanding, even emotional support features. Younger investors are clearly voting with their downloads for simplicity and that connection.
It really does sound like a cultural shift then, not just tech.
It is fundamentally cultural. Some people want that pilot's cockpit. They want absolute individual control over every detail.
While others prefer, the warmth of a group ride? Sharing the journey, maybe the risk, too.
Exactly. It's that core difference. Precision and isolation versus connection, and potentially that herd behavior we mentioned, trading alone versus trading together.
So wrapping this up, this whole exploration, this magic of listening deep dive, it boils down to this tension, right?
Yeah, the tension between control and connection in how we interact with finance today.
Which leaves a pretty interesting question for you, the listener, to think about.
Based on everything we've discussed, the power of the old school, the ease and community of the new when it comes to your money.
What do you prioritize more? Is it the detailed control, or is it the feeling of connection?
What kind of investor do you ultimately want to be? Something to consider.
영어와 시사경제 두 마리 토끼를 한 번에 잡는 알찬 시간 되셨다면 구독과 좋아요를 꾹 눌러주세요. 감사합니다.